Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo. I'm your host and keeper, the Harry Channel, and with me tonight are minions Adam.
Hi.
Sora Luna.
Good evening.
Serenity Star 13.
Hello.
And adult supervision provided by SkepTock. How are you all doing tonight?
Old.
Old?
Yeah.
Slightly
still.
older than last time?
Yep, exactly. Another day older and deeper in debt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a really big week for news. Most of it
What's
bad.
been going on?
It hasn't.
What's going on?
It's kind of like you just want to climb back in bed, pull the covers over your head, eat fudge, not do much of anything.
You saw my tweet the other day about just hating the world and wanting to play Commander Keen.
I have not logged into Twitter for well over a month, and feels good. Feels really good. I recommend it.
I'll stop tagging you.
No, I'll come back at some point. Don't worry about it.
Right.
You know, our old pal Inquisitor. He's subscribed to that type of logic. He hasn't been on Twitter for a while, and so far so good. He's been saying some positive things about that type of mindset. So there's got to be something there, right?
Well, who's it? Dave Rubin takes these vacations where he goes. Not only does he not work for a month at a time, he
Off the grid.
goes completely off the grid. Yeah,
Off the grid.
Must be fun.
Yep.
I remember vaguely what it was like being off the grid when I could go to a place where the only communications was basically a payphone. Like you could walk to a payphone that was near the Pacific Crest Trail, and other than that, there was no communication. There was no cell phone, no internet, no nothing. It's pretty great. Because you could leave work and nobody could find you, and then you reach a point in your adult life where it's like you're going to carry a satellite phone. God damn. And then you can never be out of touch. So I'm sort of at that point in life where if I go to someplace without coverage, I have to carry a satellite phone.
Yeah,
because everything sucks. But it is what it is. So I've been dealing with my $28 Chinese super cheap Bluetooth headset, which I've nicknamed Fong Fong.
Yeah,
and Fong Fong and I are we're at a crossroads here, and I think it's time for Fong Fong to just be beaten with a hammer.
Is that a spy guy over there?
Yeah, I named it after
We've
that
got to
spy.
know it's that time.
It's time. It's been a fun little experiment, but that headset is irredeemably terrible. And do yourself a favor. Anybody who thinks you're going to get the cheapest headset on Amazon and it's going to work, it's probably not. I mean, it actually did certain things really well, except for not being able to reliably answer calls, hang up calls, turn it on or turn it off. It actually worked great.
So generally, it was a good buy.
Well, when it did work, the sound quality was actually pretty good, except you couldn't turn the volume up without accidentally hanging up on people. So you couldn't hear them. But other than that, it was actually pretty great.
It's the healthy relationships feature.
Yeah. So how are you doing, Sora?
Oh,
Great, Jensen.
I can't follow up that Fong Fong story.
Yeah. I'm not kidding. I'm getting a new headset tomorrow, and as soon as it shows up, I'm going to take a hammer to Fong Fong and bust it into 1,000 pieces so nobody accidentally tries to use it.
You should do it on a stream. You should do a Harry Channel stream with the execution of Fong Fong.
Put it on the Nigel cam.
Exactly. I had a 1970 Pontiac that I put a nice stereo system in when I was a kid. And I swear that the way they build that car is they have a hook, and then they take a car radio, and then they build the entire car around that radio. It took me probably about 8 hours and a hacksaw to get that thing out of the car so I could put like a really good car stereo in instead.
Nice.
And I was so pissed off that I got the thing out finally, and I took these sheet metal screws out. I stuck an M80 in it, and then just had the fuse sticking out, and then I bolted it all back together and I blew that thing into a million pieces. It was
Oh,
awesome. I was a little angry.
M80 is pretty
Just a
powerful. Little, it's an eighth of a stick of dynamite, isn't it? Eighth or a tenth or something. Yeah.
Yours makes it's enough. It's enough to take out the radio. Sadly, I don't have anything like that to go after Fong Fong, but I figure a 5-pound sledgehammer will do the job quite handily.
It'll be probably more satisfying too. You get a bit of exercise in.
Yeah.
Like punching a pillow, when you're frustrated.
Yeah. So do yourself a favor, folks. Don't buy the cheapest Bluetooth headset on Amazon. Yeah, I knew it was time to get rid of it when the battery went low. And instead of saying something that made sense, it just said, "Please charging." So,
Hold on. I'm trying to piece together how Bluetooth earbuds tethers with Fong Fong, the Chinese spy, and then M80s that are explosives that could possibly kill you. So where's the triangulation of this? You know what? If I could tell you why.
Sometimes, Adam, there is no triangle.
Sometimes there is no triangle. Yeah. And I'm perilously close to old guy with newspaper articles and red yarn at this point, in terms of how I put things together.
Got the cardboard.
Let's see if I can find this thing where
the conspiracy meet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Here's the plan for the show. I've got it all ready to go.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. So there you go. Small enough that you can't read it.
He made maps, people.
Yes, there's actually diagrams and stuff. Well, there's so much crap going on that you can actually get lost in it. I mean, I'm sitting here just going, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I need to literally draw a picture or I can't keep track of all the crap that's going on.
I hate to say it, but
you're just going to say it anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
The newest game that came out called Elden Ring is an open world type experience, and I think this is where we're going. So your map that you just showed us is just kind of a reflection of what's going on in current state, is that people are willing to, or they're able to accept, they're able to see, like, yes, it's the world is there, and then there's shit beyond it. like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, yeah.
I get it. I'm looking at the chat here. Actually, there's a StreamYards is giving me a complex and telling me that essentially there's nobody watching, but I see Costin, I see Jack, Keeverdam, let's see, Elowen. Addie's here. Man, okay, so there's plenty of people. We're not just shouting into the void. Excellent.
It's because so many people have wrenches.
Yeah.
It doesn't count them, and that's the issue.
Are you serious?
Yeah. StreamYards and
wrenches?
YouTube does not count them as watching because they are considered to already should have been watching by their algorithm bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the wrench no state actually bites
Works
you
against
behind.
it.
Yeah.
So you know what? Remove the wrenches. No, honestly, like
No.
like for I mean, personally, I don't want to wield any sort of that wrench power. So remove my wrench and add to the fucking algorithm.
Doesn't matter. Now, I know people are there. I can see them talking. It's fine. I just need to not look at the number StreamYards is giving me because it's giving me a complex. Serenity, how are you doing? He's muted. Probably dealing with dogs. Okay. All right. So let's see. I guess we begin at the beginning.
Did you say how you were? Beyond Fang Fang?
Fong Fong? No, that's like
Fong
a
Fong, sorry.
full-time thing.
Fong
Yeah,
Fong.
Fong
I'm
Fong
okay,
is
by the
more
way.
than enough. Hey, you were already talking. I figured you were fine.
I'm not dead yet. I'm feeling much better.
Yes, he
I
is.
feel
Don't listen to him.
happy. Well, when it comes to Ukraine, they can't say that we didn't put our best foot forward to try to prevent the invasion from happening. Because I mean, we sent Kamala Harris, our expert on border security, to Europe to make
Sort
things
of.
better. It's like,
We did.
It's
my
a
God.
crack team.
yeah,
that's
she's
something.
incomprehensible. It's just, I don't. I'm sorry,
She
she's making it so
spoke to
I
them-
can't talk now.
She spoke to them as though she was talking to her sorority sisters,
Hmm.
and sounded immature, puerile, feckless, and naive. All the things you want in a vice president charged with solving a world problem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good Lord, she is so pathetically underqualified. This is she's not going to make any progress with everything. And I think she's being set up now to fail because they see her as a political liability, and they want to find a reason to say, "Nice job, you're a trailblazer.
Mhm.
Rest on your laurels, pose for the statue, and shut up and die."
Yeah,
That's basically what they want from her. Not to literally die, but to
Yeah.
politically fade into the background, because right now they don't have anybody who is maturing as a candidate to run for president. It should is not going to be Biden. If it's Biden again, whoever the Republicans nominate will win the presidency.
well, let's get a little sample of the delicious word salad. See if technology is going to work today.
This was so hard.
Can you hear it?
About the potential
Yep.
of war in
Yes,
Europe.
we can.
I mean, let's really take a moment to
She's
understand
trying
the
so hard
significance
not
of
to
what we're
break out
talking
in the
about.
Joker laugh.
It's been over 70 years. And through those 70 years, as I mentioned yesterday, there has been peace and security.
She's so deep.
What about the war
We're
in
talking about the real
Kosovo?
possibility of war
Doesn't
in
count.
Europe.
The wars in the 90s?
So
about-
our position is for us very clear,
Yeah.
which is as a leader, which we have been, bringing together the allies,
Uh,
working together.
Make a sentence. Make a
around
sentence.
our
I know you
collective and
can.
unified position.
Come on.
That we would all, not just prefer, we
I
desire,
know
we
you couldn't
believe
do it.
it is in the best interest of all that there is a
It's
diplomatic
just a big
end
run-on bunch of
to this
phrases.
moment.
well, this is the thing. She was basically gish galloping and just saying a lot of empty nothing.
Yes.
There's no content here. It is
There's no-
absolutely content free. There's no there.
It's so serious. It's so amazingly serious. I mean, we're talking about war, man. Guys, this is war. We've been at peace for 70 years. The widows and orphans in Kosovo will be happy to know that that wasn't really a war that broke out there. Fuck.
Hold on. Exactly what you said. Everything that she was saying was just like word jumble. And it'd be one thing if it was like, hey, how did you like this cake? And they were like, whoa, there's flour and then there's sugar and sometimes they mix around and sometimes they don't mix around, but you perform a cake and here you go. And it's like, dude, this is but we're talking war. We're talking people's lives. This is I don't know, man. This is baffling to me.
It is. And here, let's listen to the privileged women talk about how it's Trump's fault. This is fun too.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Leader Vladimir Putin for flagrantly
Wait.
violating the
Okay,
international
wait, hold
law
on.
by
I have
sending
to I
Russian
have to
troops.
transform this again. So let me
is that
scroll. Let me
Whoopi?
hold. Yeah, it's Whoopi. Hold on. I need to give her a face so that she looks stupid. Hold on. Let me make her look stupid. Let's see.
You don't need to do anything for that to happen.
I was
Here,
just going to say.
This will annoy
Leave
her,
it
I think,
alone.
more than anything. This will be perfect. Okay, here we go.
troops into the Ukraine. Now, Biden vowed to impose crippling sanctions that would cut off Russia from Western finance. But you know who seems to be
God, that is
so much
just-
more impressed by Putin's
creepy.
moves on this. Take a
I earlier today when I was testing it, I had a Hillary face that just showed up, but I can't seem to get it to load. Here, let's try it again. Now it won't load. I had this beautiful Hillary mask that was showing up. It was wonderful. Okay. No, the point is she's about to talk about what Trump said, and the liberals cannot let go of it. It's like you're a comedian who has forgotten what sarcasm is. Think about that as we go to the next part. This is very short, I promise.
look.
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well, very, very well. By the way, this never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable. This would never have happened.
No, you would have sold the country, but that's something else.
Idiot.
Hold on, I love
This is just
I
stupid
love
remark
how
by
Trump
Whoopi Goldberg.
talks. Dude, that's awesome.
Silly remark by her.
And listen, hold on, I know him very well. And listen, and they're gonna go over there, and let me tell you, it's gonna happen. That they're gonna invade in the Crimea. It's like, dude, this dude. What the fuck timeline are we on?
Okay, so here's the problem.
The dark
when
one.
Trump was, and again, I'm not like a huge Trump fanboy. I just want to make that clear. But when Trump would deal with other people in the world, you know, who were powerful, he would treat them as if they weren't stupid. They were just, you know, they just had a different agenda. But he would recognize when they would do something that was like smart from a PR perspective. But he always treated even like, you know, Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il, he always would treat even the North Koreans, you know, with a sort of a level of respect.
Even their
And then he would negotiate with them to try to come up with some sort of solution. But the Democrats don't know how to do that. All they do is they just demonize, threaten. And then they wonder why they can't have any kind of constructive dialogue with the rest of the world. It's like, oh, well, we're just going to punish you and put you because you're evil. We're just going to punish you and then more sanctions, more stick. Never carrot, all stick. Because a guy like Putin is just evil. He may be just evil, but the point is that's the only thing the Democrats can see. That's their one card. That's the only thing they've got.
He isn't evil.
It's like saying a shark is evil.
Yeah, I agree. It's not even that he's a mindless predator. Putin really has a plan, and it's not to rebuild the Soviet Union. It has some elements of that, but what he really wants to do, Putin's idea of what Russia is a Russia that includes Sweden. Just so you know, he has written about this. If you look at the translations of some of his writings, when he talks about the left behinds of World War II, the countries that shouldn't exist, Lithuania, Estonia, when he says Finland is a natural part of Russia, has been for years, but you know, it was just an accident.
Yeah.
You know, post World War II of circumstance and geography, and he talks about that. He wants to rebuild Russia into that old time, you know, one side of Asia to the other side. If it's North Asia, it's Russia, and even into Eastern Europe with, you know, better ports, better transportation situation. If he controls the strait out of the Black Sea into the Mediterranean, if that's purely Russian territory, that really enhances his ability to guarantee that he can ship things from Russia and boy, if he gets Nord Stream 2 on top of that, and I bet that he will, I'll bet Europe will cave. Europe is so ready to say to Neville Chamberlain, hold my beer, and really give in to this guy, and which is exactly the opposite of what they should do. And he sees himself really as a Tsar, as the majestic, almost divinely inspired head of a Russian empire. That's what he wants to see. And he wants to get that. He knows he can't accomplish it in the rest of his life, but he knows he can get it started, or he thinks he can get it started, and pass it off to, some sort of heir.
Mm.
Better than Medvedev, too, by the way. But anyway.
Well, okay. So looking at sort of the pros and cons, what do they gain? What do they lose? So on the what do they gain?
That's his long-term plan. Short-term, it's a different situation.
Right. You've talked about it solves that pesky water problem in Crimea, but it more than that, it actually gives him a lot of possibilities and new territory, and it puts him in the history books where he wants to be. Like you said, sort of starting this campaign to rebuild Russia. The Russian Empire.
Right.
So, but in terms of what it costs him, I'm looking at the world and it's like, yeah, we could just decide that it's the current year and that civilized countries, certainly superpowers, don't go around just invading countries for the hell of it. Certainly a reasonable point.
What do you think will happen to him? What do you think the downside for Putin is?
Well, this is the question. I think that everybody generally understands that this is completely unacceptable in sort of civilized times. They have a seat on the Security Council for the UN, so the UN is useless in this. The UN is not going to do anything. When tiny little countries decide to screw around and go after each other, then the UN can step in.
Yeah.
Assuming that the US, China, or Russia doesn't veto it, because we have our permanent spots.
Isn't Russia on a council that's going to be adjourned for a meeting recently?
I'm sure they're on a bunch of them. I'm not sure which one you're thinking of.
No, I can't remember what it was, but it was because somebody brought it up to Paskey about, like, how are you going to allow Russia to be on this council, but they just invaded? And Paskey was like, yeah, we're gonna cover it when we get there, or something like that. It's like,
are you talking about the UN Security Council?
I think so. I can't.
They have a permanent seat. It's never going to end.
It's not like a rotation type of thing.
No. They have a permanent seat.
There are rotating members.
But they're not one of them.
But they are a permanent member. They always sit on.
So the permanent ones are U.S., China, Russia, I think France and the UK.
UK, right.
Those are the permanent ones. And then there's a few seats that are sort of, basically you serve a term and everybody gets a shot at it. But the UN does a lot of stupid things. We're not even going to get into the whole, like, thou shalt not eat red meat thing that they're trying to pull off.
Want me to read you the member nations of the Human Rights Council?
No, because I know who's at the top of it. Isn't Saudi Arabia chairing it right now?
Oh, yeah, it makes me sad. Yeah, Ethiopia.
All the best,
I'm not
the
a
actual
fan of the
bringers of
EU
human
and the
rights.
UN. Oh,
Sorry, you were saying what?
Oh no, all the bringers of the human rights violations are on the Human Rights Council.
They absolutely are.
It streamlines the process because it's like,
for God's sake.
Yeah.
What do they call that? Farm to table, something like that?
Awesome.
Nice. Oh, I need to change to the next thing so we don't have to look at Whoopi Goldberg looking like Donald Trump. Let's just make that go away. So the point is there's economic interdependence. So Russia is a major supply of oil to the U.S.
Yes, it is.
We don't need to go into that. Let's just take that as given because we decided not to pump a bunch of oil. Instead, we're going to become an clean energy superpower, and we're going to let the rest of the world pump all the oil.
We pump about 11.5 million barrels a day. We consume 17 million barrels a day. We could pump 22 million barrels a day without even an effort, literally with just a few phone calls and almost nothing, but we choose not to because the government prevents us from doing that because reasons.
U.S. actually produces 18.375 million barrels per day. Crude oil is 11.283.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about crude oil production.
Okay.
I'm talking about crude oil.
So I honestly think that instead of doing the smart thing, which is saying, well, we've got all this new technology coming soon, we're greening our grid. In the meantime, we need to help Europe. We need to start sending more liquefied natural gas. We need to do the things that we were doing under the previous administration. We're just changing it because of the geopolitical situation. We're still going to do all the green stuff. They're not going to do that. They're going to say, nope, because you heard John Kerry say it today. The bad thing about the whole situation in Ukraine is that people are going to lose sight of how important global climate change is. And because of that, we don't want people being distracted from the important thing. The Biden administration is going to do nothing.
John Kerry is.
I predict that Joe Biden is going to come back and say, look, we need to put the Green New Deal back on the table, and it's more important now than ever because of what's happening in Ukraine. He's going to do exactly the opposite of what he should do. That's just my stupid prediction.
No, I think you're very likely right.
He's heading back to the trough. But it's not just the U.S. Of course, there's the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. That's obviously a big deal because people like not freezing to death in the winter in Europe.
Yeah.
More global warming would help with that, by the way. That's a joke.
I was actually reading a write-up from the Rand Corporation about this.
Mm-hmm.
And the one paragraph summary on that is based on everything we've seen. It seems like Putin is out for regime change. Rand Corporation expects a move on Kiev within the next 48 hours. They consider an appropriate analogy is the 2003 race to Baghdad. What happens after a new government is installed is the real question. And it doesn't appear that Putin's post-war political playbook is more thought through than the U.S. one was in Iraq. The thing that the Russians have in Ukraine is they have a huge advantage in from the language to the local networks of people, the existing links between that country and Russia. The United States had none of that in Iraq. I mean, we went in there cold.
SkepTock, they can drive there. It's like spring break for them, but with ammunition.
Yeah, it's spring break with ammunition. Exactly right. And for that reason, they may have some success where the U.S. just flat ass failed in Iraq.
Now, I have no illusions about the fact that they are completely outgunned just because it's Ukraine is not a superpower. Russia's a superpower. They know how to fight on the ground. As long as it's not jungle or Afghanistan, the Russians are generally pretty good at fighting.
They're really good at this. They're really good at the urban.
But there's two things they have not managed to do. They're 3 days into this thing and they have not achieved air superiority. Okay,
no, have not.
Now that is significant because if the U.S. were to invade Ukraine, just hypothetically speaking, we would have air superiority in a hot minute. It would take us a few hours to basically achieve air superiority. We've already demonstrated that we can do that kind of thing.
You have to be a little careful with Ukraine. Here's why. They have well-trained pilots flying MiG-29s. MiG-29 is every bit the plane the F-15 is.
Well, which version of the F-15? I'm afraid to even look at chat because I know what I'm gonna see. The new upgraded F-15. I know.
I know. All right.
It's complicated.
Right. So let's just say that the MiG-29, rather than that, it's a formidable aircraft. It's not just this isn't the mirages that we were shooting out of the sky, with F-14 Tomcats with Libya. This is not that. This is a completely different thing. These are pilots who are trained in Western style, basically, and they use the state-of-the-art tactics that we use. They have a lot of state-of-the-art equipment. You're not just going to walk in, and that's what the Russians are finding too, is that these guys really are finding back. There's no Ghost of Kiev guy, but they here's what Russia doesn't really want to do. They don't want to lose a whole bunch of planes at this, because Russia doesn't have a whole lot of money. Its entire income, its entire economy, Russia's economy, is roughly the size of Denmark. Let that sink in for a minute. This is a country with a huge amount of land and itty bitty economy, itty bitty spending space. They really don't have a lot of money to waste on this. And if they impoverish themselves on this, they could really fuck themselves internationally. They could make themselves economic beggars at the international table very easily. That Putin is going to try and be very careful not to bankrupt himself with this invasion. And I think he might not be successful. I think that may be the thing that really sinks him. It's simply going to cost him too much to continue this. He's going to have to kill too many people too fast. It won't be acceptable, and he'll pull back and say that was a mistake. I think that actually might happen.
Yeah, I don't know if he's the kind of man who would admit that he was wrong and that he made a mistake in this case. But the key point before we kind of move,
like Sagar and Getty and Breaking Points, after he's been saying for months now that there is no way Putin is going to invade Ukraine, absolutely no possibility.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention to Sagar on this site, but the other thing, aside from not achieving air superiority, is that the Russians have one of the best cyber warfare teams on the planet, bar none.
Yes.
They are very, very, very good at screwing up other people's internet. Now, but oddly, Ukraine still has power. It still has water. The lights are still on in these cities, and they still have people broadcasting what's happening out.
Destroy them. He doesn't want to destroy them. He just wants to.
No, I'm not talking about destroying them.
He wants regime change and a compliant government.
No, I'm not talking about bombing the waterworks. I'm talking about shutting the waterworks off through using cyber stuff to do it. So I'm talking about electronic warfare, cyber attacks, that type of thing to basically cripple their infrastructure without destroying it. Obviously, you have to reboot the servers and bring everything back online, but they can totally do something like that if they want to.
Yeah.
I don't think that if with the amount of killing that you're talking about, that they want as much video coming out of there as is coming out of there right now. People are broadcasting stuff on TikTok.
I know.
It's crazy. I mean, remember it was a big deal when the war was brought to your living room.
Oh yeah.
Right. That was like suddenly war became a whole different thing because
Vietnam changed everything.
But Vietnam changed everything. But this is going to be, again, hold my beer. TikTok.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, hold on. In all respect, if you're gonna look at that, geez, dude, if you look at how battle strategies worked in the past, if you were to look at the Battle of Elysium and see how Caesar sieged that city and worked his way into subjugating that area, the knowledge of warfare isn't lost on it. The means of information getting to you, that's different, and I'd agree with you. During the Vietnam War, we had a lot more information coming to us about certain situations of what was going on. The same as this. We don't have the full picture of what's going on. We just are getting timbits of what the fuck they're feeding us. This is the point. It's we are still in the fog of war. We
Not
won't.
really.
It's a lot less foggy than it used to be, but I
Yeah.
think in the notes I put together, I said it's not so much a fog as a BS tsunami.
Well, I'm not saying that we're like sitting here waiting, months to hear the fucking results of a battle. But we also, when we see something, it's not 100% what they're fucking telling us.
Okay.
So
Let me take it to a slightly lighter place as we ease ourselves out of this topic. I noticed that there were a number of interesting sort of memes that people were coming out with. Smaller here. I thought this was a bit much. Can everybody see that?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. Well done.
Ukraine is George Floyd.
Oh, George Floyd.
I
Yes,
can't
very good.
defend. That's really terrible. So, I mean, the memes are going to be great because, everything, along with TikTok and everything else, we now have memes on a level that we didn't have. And of course, the Ghost of Kiev meme featuring Samuel Hyde, a 36-year-old who is identified as a MiG-29 pilot. I assume everybody here is at least vaguely familiar with the Sam Hyde meme.
I've seen this one. I don't know. Is there another meme?
Sam Hyde. Go ahead.
Samuel Hyde. I love that spelling. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go on.
The Sam Hyde meme has been around for quite a while. Essentially, whenever there's some sort of mass shooting type of thing, the internet trolls like to put together some sort of thing saying that there's a guy named Sam Hyde who was like the lone shooter that got away type of thing.
You can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So, I mean, top kick for all of that sort of stuff. But I was thinking about the whole, what is it that Russia's trying to expand into? And I'm like, okay, so, who are the member countries of NATO, right? So it's not Ukraine. Ukraine's not in NATO, but of course we have Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, United Kingdom, United States. Other member countries are Greece, Turkey, Germany, Spain, Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia. I'm sorry, I didn't set this to music. Albania and Croatia, Montenegro, and North Macedonia.
But where's France?
France is up there next to Denmark.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Between Denmark and Iceland.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, in theory, if they step one little foot in any one of the countries on this list, there should be some sort of military response. Am I just being naive here?
No, there should be.
Yeah.
That's the speculation for the reason why Putin is doing. At least people who are trying. No, that's not how to say it either. People of the speculation type are stating that the reason why Putin did this is because Ukraine is on the list as possible, and there went Skep, as possible being allowed into NATO. And because Ukraine touches the border with Russia, he would consider that bad.
Yes.
So that's their statement. We'll go with statement for the reason why he moved into Ukraine, which I think is complete BS. But
it runs on two things too. It's like, one, there's no reason for NATO to exist because the Soviet Union doesn't exist. So there's no reason for a treaty of people trying to, prevent Russian aggression. Like, it just makes no sense. But two, the other thing is, not only in Ukraine, but they also just recently said the same thing with Finland, I believe. Like, if NATO expands into Finland. So it's like, dude, I don't know. They're saying, look, you're essentially creating a Cuban Missile Crisis for them, and we're supposed to be okay with this, but we're like, it's just weird. It's weird.
But the problem is that Putin's been pulling this shit for decades, even before some of these countries were in the threat of being part of NATO.
Decades? Get the fuck out of here.
Chechnya.
No, hold on.
Really?
when they ran their shit with Crimea, they had every chance to fucking settle this shit, but obviously they didn't want to do anything with it.
Oh sure.
Oh yeah. And of course, Warthog go burr.
Oh, I love the Warthog Thunderbolt 2 and 3. I love that plane.
God, I can't remember which channel. One of the engineering channels I follow has like this documentary on the insane engineering of the A-10 Warthog.
Oh, and the fact that the United States Air Force has no control over it. Oh, it makes it even better.
It's such a
middle finger.
It's such a beautiful example of when engineers actually do their job properly.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's like, oh, you don't want to get shot in the ass. How about a titanium bucket? We can do that.
Yeah. Woo! 42. It's for the Gatling gun at the front of it. I'm not sure it's a Gatling gun, but the gun at the front of it can do 4,200 rounds per minute.
Serenity.
It is a Gatling gun.
Serenity.
Okay.
It's not a gun at the front. Much like the car radio in my 70 Pontiac Bonneville station wagon, they built the plane around the gun.
Yeah, I know.
The plane is a gun with wings, basically.
Oh, I know. It was like,
it's not front. It's like the whole freaking thing, except for the wings.
The plane is a gun support unit.
Yeah, I've heard it go off, like because there's a air museum in Kentucky, and we went to it, and they had a full like theater of like showing the documentary about how it got made and everything like that, and hearing that thing go off in surround sound is terrifying, but it's literally, and that's it.
Did I cover in a previous show?
I believe the cacophony is a wonderful distraction. Yes. God bless with your.
Well, there's a whole mathematics story about the A-10.
Cacophony.
Wonderful.
Cacophony. I believe
it's cacophony. It's
cacophony. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a dildo. Cacophony.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
it's disturbing sound. So either way.
All right. Well, long live NATO. And man, it's pretty sickening about the whole Ukraine thing, but I'm really glad we have NATO. All right. So we need a break because everything sucks. Let's have a break. Okay. Turn off the weird face thing. We're not going to need that. This is what happens when you go ice fishing and things go incorrectly.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Are they going to go splash?
This is not
Wait
gonna
for
happen.
it. No, wait for it. This is gonna be great. I'll go get some beers, eh?
Yeah, beauty day,
in Minnesota.
I really love these tents.
Everything's going just fine.
Wait
no
for
problem
it.
now.
Well, let's skip ahead just a little bit.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
What?
He forgot to unhook the tent when he drove away with the snowmobile.
Oh my goodness.
And then everything just gets destroyed.
That is a lot of very expensive equipment.
And at some point he realizes, hey, wait, I think I screwed up. Nope, still driving. Oops. Mistakes were made.
It's just him
So
going back.
the pet's still here. I thought I drove away from it.
We're not going to drill new holes just to take it back where it was.
Yeah.
So, you know. Yeah.
Oh, that is funny.
Oh no.
All right. I think we decided before the show that all the things that are happening in Canada we didn't want to talk about, right?
Oh, it's trout fishing in America.
Sure. Okay. So we'll just go back to, let's see. Next block is progressive BS.
Oh, this is fun. There's fun stuff in this.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff and there's some kind of terrible stuff. So this guy is, he's a real piece of work. Suspect with 40 prior arrests allegedly assaults 4-year-old in Times Square. You tell me if he assaulted this kid in Times Square or not.
Well, first of all, we failed him if he's had 40 prior arrests.
We did. Okay, so here we go. He's walking along and boosh, and he hits that kid.
That kid
And
aggressed him. Did you see
He
that?
did. I think he
It
disrespected him.
colonized him.
And these
They
women,
colonized him.
these women came at him and took him down to the ground. One of them looks like she's going to hit him with her stapler. And
Oh, no, that's spray.
and look, the cops actually came over and did something.
Yeah, they arrested the lady with the bear spray.
Probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
take her away. But yeah,
She-
man punches 4-year-old in Times Square attack.
Punch a 4-year-old. I'm gonna hose you down with bear spray. I really will. I'll
What the hell is
Yeah.
wrong with you?
I'll find a way to fuck
He,
you up.
he has kind eyes. You know, he's obviously a victim of something.
The kind I like to stab these.
Yeah, I think he may have some mental issues and probably shouldn't be walking around with the rest of us for a while.
Do you
And
think?
see, hold on. That like part of me,
Hope
part
gets
part of
up.
me is like, you know, there should be areas where we're putting people who, if they have these inflictions, that they have to cause harm. Like we should be able to put some somewhere. I
Well,
mean,
we fail them if they
I know,
do
I know,
something
but
bad
it's-
40 times. Adam, I agree with you completely. We have failed them by not locking them up early enough. I mean that's a failure to us and a failure to public safety, but it fails them too. You know, sometimes citizens need to be protected from themselves. This guy has caused uncountable amount of mayhem and potentially tragedy. I mean, he could have killed that kid. What if he killed that
but
kid?
just
Would it be bad then?
no, even his he did it just normally. Like it was like a normal like action for him. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this is something that
He
there
needs
is
to be
obviously.
restrained, don't you think?
I don't know, man. This
For his own good. I mean, you know, maybe the next thing he'll do is jump in front of a train. Let's not let that happen.
Yeah, but he's been arrested 40 times, but it's wrong to for the system to discriminate against him.
that breaks my heart. Dude.
Yeah, we need to do.
can't,
I mean, okay, so the theme here is that law enforcement is completely messed up, and we've got two sort of camps. One, which is we need law and order back. We need to basically stop all of the broken windows and get our society back to someplace that's livable. And then there's still these people running around saying, "Oh, we need to just make everything equitable." So if the skin colors don't meet certain quotas in our jails, therefore they're inherently racist. But you know, this is part of an overall story arc. It's not just this one thing. So how about this problem? And this guy's a white dude. So Gascon is the district attorney of Los Angeles.
Not
And he's-
Gaston.
It is Gascon. Gascon. Nobody loves criminals like Gascon. So this guy molested a 10-year-old when he was 17.
Oh God.
And then was caught when he was 26. As soon as he was caught, he decided, I'm feeling like a woman now, so I'm going to transition while in custody. So they tried this 26-year-old who was 17 at the time of molesting a 10-year-old as a minor and sentenced them to 2 years in jail in a women's prison. And of course, this person publicly made statements laughing about the incredibly light sentence he got. He said basically by just going no contest as a minor, it's not even going on his record. He's not even required to register as a sex offender.
Jesus Christ.
And this is the point where the people of Los Angeles start to go, wait a second, what? And the district attorney let this happen because he does not believe in prosecuting anybody under the age of 18 as an adult. So in order to do that, you have to basically go to him and get like a variance. He will not let the people who work for him try anybody as an adult unless he gives the okay. And he didn't in this case.
You know, I remember seeing that in the news feed.
Yeah.
Particularly they laughed at the results, and that kind of
Be pretty careful about what you say here.
who me?
well, I mean, everybody about this subject. This is something that can get you struck pretty fast. YouTube has really broadened its community guidelines with respect to acceptable speech. Just be careful.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, like I said, I'm going by what I saw on the news articles. I mean, in the news articles that I go by is whatever Microsoft send me. So because when I'm at work, I see the MSNBC news feed type of stuff. So it comes from there, and that's what. So if you want to strike me down, or strike minions down,
that's what we were trying to avoid. But the point is that Gascon is facing a recall election. And this is just another example of where he doesn't seem to be particularly worried about protecting the community. He's much more worried about protecting the rights of criminals.
It's so weird.
Politically, that's where his bread is buttered. He's just going where the votes are. This is a guy who wants to be governor. They all do,
Yeah,
and he'll do anything to do it. He'll whore out and say all the right things. He's being completely managed. I promise you, this guy's being managed by a PR firm, basically that has been charged with make this man governor, in the next 8 years.
At least he's not going to have to fillet Willie Brown.
Good Lord! Just
I heard a noise from Sora. Does that mean
Sorry, it was a yawn, not a noise.
No, I thought that was
Muffled
just you
yawn.
giving up, just going, oh my God.
That's the soul leaving my body.
I was just going to say that was my soul giving up on life.
Yeah, and I mean,
see, for me, this is my opinion. If you are a criminal, regardless of what you are currently or your past was, and you are convicted of the crime that you did, and because of politics, laws are changed around you for their optics, that is a corruption of government or the justice system, and it should be rectified. So I do hope he gets booted, this Gascon guy, and then whatever. Yeah. At least people are now aware of this particular individual, and should they get out early, hopefully someone keeps an eye out and makes the neighborhood aware wherever they live. So.
Yeah, well, we just... it's unfortunately, if he's not in the system, I think the chance that he can just move somewhere and nobody will know what this guy was up to is pretty high.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, and as far as the whole, identifying as a woman thing, he did this only after he was basically caught, which makes me just suspect that he's being an opportunist. I'm not saying I'm not saying that the trans status had anything to do with the crime that he committed. Because he wasn't trans at the time he committed the crime, for one thing. But I am saying that I think he's an opportunist, and I don't believe him. I know I'm supposed to believe everybody, right?
Are you suggesting that
that's
he's
a stretch?
I am suggesting that he thinks that he would rather be in the women's prison. I'm suspecting that. Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that
he's misrepresenting reality to other people. What kind of person are you? What kind of bigot are you?
Terrible bigot, apparently.
You're practically Klan.
Practically. Okay, so this is actually a thing. So Seattle repeals bike helmet law because it's racist. And you might be thinking to yourself, how is this possible? Well, it's possible because they found that there were more people of color being cited for this. They didn't provide any statistics, mind you. They just asserted that this was the case. So therefore, you can't have a law that says you have to wear a bike helmet.
So we're now going to have, I promise you, there will be at least one incremental, one marginal death, one additional death as a result of this policy that there would not have been had this policy was in place, left in place. Because what will happen is it'll happen slowly at first, but then very rapidly, where the impetus to wear a helmet is going to be relaxed on a very wide swath of bike riders. And one of those people will crush their head where they wouldn't have crushed it if they'd had a helmet. This is being done in the service of racial piety.
So
fucking.
You know what?
We have that.
If they weren't
Hold on,
writing
Adam.
it-
Hold on.
Adam.
Let's to Sora talk, and then you can go
Yes.
next.
So Canada's did this like years ago. But our thing was religious freedom versus oppression.
Mhm.
Because if you're a member of the Sikh community and you wear a turban, well, you can't fit that under a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah.
So a few years back, I believe it was Alberta who. I don't know if anybody did it before Alberta. Alberta started. I think BC may have it in place. So the Motor Vehicle Transportation Act, whatever it's called in each province, it's been amended. So you don't need to, if you're a Sikh motorcyclist, you don't need to remove your turban and wear a helmet because that's against their religious practices to do so. Or
You can always take some of those sheets of bubble wrap and put it in the turban.
Well, they're
Seems like that'd be just as
from what
good.
I remember, they're a really huge group, and they tend to do charitable goods to kind of get away with a lot of things.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not that they don't do good things, but when you're dealing with a large enough group that raises money very easily, and suddenly you are changing the law specifically for them. This isn't over a thing, but for the Sikh community.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they could have
Well,
just pulled that,
Actually,
and it'll been a lot easier.
every Sikh that I've ever met has been just a really, really wonderful person. I'm not saying
Yeah,
they all are.
No, I'm
Oh,
the same,
no.
Harry,
But
I'm the same way, and
that's
I've
why
met a lot of them.
Yeah.
We've had them. This sort of idea of logical protection of your health and life, and all that versus some other frivolous thing. So you're saying, well, the only reason that you are wanting me to wear this because you're oppressing me is what was a lot of the narrative here.
No, yeah.
Well, there was a lot of pushback against motorcycle helmets because, especially sort of in the Harley Rebel sort of,
Exactly.
I
ain't gonna wear no helmet.
ethos. Yeah, there was a lot of not wearing helmets. Now in Canada, where you have public health care, every time somebody basically does that, if they live through it, they cost the government a ton of money. Otherwise, it's a fresh organ donor.
Well, but it's also it does cost a ton of money, and that is some of the most costly type of surgery and rehabilitation.
Yeah,
that takes place. That I used to date a physical therapist at the Helen Hunt Hospital in upstate New York, Haverstraw, New York. They specialize in amputees. 98% of the people in that hospital are motorcycle accidents. Motorcycle accidents are by far over diabetes, over everything else, the number one cause of amputation. At least they were back in the 1970s.
Well, with enough Funyuns, we can get those numbers up for diabetes, I think.
Exactly.
So, Adam, you were trying to say something a moment ago. Sorry, I had to play traffic cop. What were you going to say?
I'm sorry, what?
You had a comment you wanted to make earlier. What was it? It's your turn.
Oh, well, the joke required some timing.
Oh, crap. Okay, sorry. I had to grab the talking stick out of your hand.
Yeah.
Those are the breaks, man.
That's
Okay.
the convo game.
So Adam, I'm going to let you go first on this, okay? So to make it up to you.
Oh, shit.
Victoria's Secret Secrets Pink hires plus size TikTok star as it expands sizes. That is a great headline, by the way, too.
Headline.
What do you want me to say about it?
I don't know. What do you want to say about it? Hey, we've got this link down here in the corner. Exclusive Bottega Veneta supports return of Butt magazine.
That's a more interesting story.
Except I'm kind of afraid to click on that link.
Plus size social media star Bacon Eater.
Why?
Is that her name? Is Pink's newest brand ambassador.
Why
Bacon
is this
Eater.
a story? So Pink is like the collegiate.
Wow, you guys are bombing
young-
worse than fucking Ukraine and Russia. Shit.
It says Remy Bader, not Bacon Eater.
I thought it was Bacon Eater. Oh, I'm
no,
sorry.
Remy Bader, not Bacon
Oh, okay.
Eater.
Remy Bader, not Bacon Eater.
It's a hate crime. Yeah. Okay, what were you going to say, Sora?
What the hell is innerwear?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know.
It's the new label for stuff like pajamas and like sweatpants and stuff like that. It's considered slightly
loungewear.
I know, but they consider it completely different.
Shit, there's a whole nother
now
person
because
there.
of
Wow.
COVID and everybody being stuck at home. So they consider it
so
innerwear.
Okay.
What about
so it's
those
like
wearable
athleisure.
blankets? The Snuggie. Snuggie is innerwear, isn't it?
Well, there's Snuggie. There's also I think it's like a blanket cape thing. Yeah.
Oh my god! I bought something like that from Amazon. It has a hood and it's like and it's a blanket, but
And it has a
doesn't
pocket
attach.
for Funyuns.
Yeah,
Mine doesn't have a pocket it's because I'm classy like that. But it's
Yes, exactly.
You got the bougie one.
But
it has a hood.
This girl, like, and let's face facts, a lot of supermodels have, but like, and she ain't a supermodel, but well, in one way she is. But anyway, she blatantly has had her face done.
I got that.
Thank you.
Okay,
But she's blatantly had her lips done because she has those. It's like
Yeah, it has
Pink,
the
Pink
it has
used
the
to be, and Sora will understand where I'm coming from with this. Pink used to be the more air quotes natural girl. She was supposed to be the fun, happy, like wavy beach
Girl next
hair,
door.
tan. Yeah, that is plastic surgery. And I'm sorry if you're going under the knife, sweetheart. Do lipo. Like, come on. Like, if you're gonna pay that much for plastic surgery, do
maybe
it.
She's going for the pig next door look.
She's got bee-kissed lips now.
She's got Kardashian butt lips. But it's one of those things like she's for the size she is, because if you see I've seen full body pictures of her, her face would not be that sculpted for the size she is if it wasn't plastic surgery induced. Because neat little tidbit about liposuction, because it removes stuff, technically those fat cells, air quotes, go away. So they have to then shift. That's the reason why liposuction people often, if they gain weight again, it looks really, really like it looks like chunky oatmeal. Because of that.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why her, like, you can already see where her cheeks have come in too much and where it's plumping out. Like she's very blatantly had too much work done, but she's a TikTok star. Why am I not shocked?
What was the title of this news article? What are we even?
It's Victoria's Secret's Pink hires plus-size TikTok star as it expands sizes.
Okay, well, fucking Victoria's Secret, they've been doing this goofy shit for a while now. I don't.
Yeah, and now we're making fun of them.
Why?
Because we can.
This is the semi palate cleanser after the harder stuff. This is the pop culture pages of the magazine.
Nice thick slice of ginger there.
Okay, so here's another thing. Here's another thing from the world of modeling. Now, and I want to be careful here because I actually view this girl as the victim, not somebody that we should be making fun of.
All right.
No, this next one is.
Okay, so we now have a fashion model with Down syndrome.
Oh, fucking hell.
People who have Down syndrome like me are capable of getting a job, creating their own businesses, and working hard like me. Now, I admit, I do not know enough about Down syndrome to be able to say this is true. I think it would probably be pretty tough to run a business if you had a significant case of Down syndrome.
You couldn't.
Because running a business is difficult, lemon difficult. It is not a simple thing. I mean, I know people who run businesses. It's actually freakishly tough. Now, the fact that she's got the job and that people are paying her, it's like, it's not up to me to decide whether this is right or wrong, but it feels a lot like exploitation. It really kind of bothers me.
Son of a fuck. Harry, are you testing me, sir?
No. I do know...
Because I really like as I prefaced before the show started, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try and measure my goofballness with the show and try and be as serious as possible. And you're throwing me this shit. Are you serious on this, man? Like, oh my god.
Am I serious that this is a thing we're talking about? Now,
I'm trying I'm trying not to.
well, hold on. Skep's got some analysis here. He's going to keep it classy.
Well, I was just going to talk about Down syndrome. It's a behavioral disorder that it's how serious it is has expanded. In other, its range of seriousness, from very serious Down syndrome to
kind of slowed.
just sorry.
I'm gonna mute.
Anyway,
okay. So, but
right,
you're talking about
now
that they've moved other. They've basically, it is a broad classification, and not everybody is affected as severely as everybody else.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at it in adulthood, about 20% in the United States, people with Down syndrome, about 20% of them are able to work in some capacity. Most require some kind of specialized work environment, and they have mild to moderate intellectual disability, and the characteristic facial features and all that kind of stuff. They physically, they may look a little bit different, particularly that look in the eyes, and but it's a range of things. So if somebody has, does not have profound Down syndrome, just has, you literally can have a mild case of Down syndrome, according to what they class. Down syndrome is actually a basket of chromosomal abnormalities. It's not just one, and you can have one, you can have all of them, you can have a combination of them, and they do different things. Okay, and depending on what your chromosomal abnormality and which of the Downs effects you suffer, that's what's going to influence how much of a regular mainstreaming effort is going to be successful with you. Basically, that's all I wanted to say.
Well, I saw a picture of her, which I don't have the link, and like I said, since I feel
she doesn't have the facial stuff at all.
Since it's kind of borderline, I feel like it's kind of borderline her being exploited. I didn't really want to bring the picture, but I've seen the picture. Yeah. Unlike the previous story, she's done her crunches. She's taking care of herself. I mean, she's fit. She's trim. She can wear the clothes in the more runway sizes. I mean, she's doing the work. She's doing the work. Very totally respectable. I mean, I don't particularly take an issue with it. I just wonder what happened at Victoria's Secret. They just woke up and said, we need broader appeal. So we need to get somebody with Down syndrome. And then we need to find like an influencer from TikTok who's, way on the far side of the BMI scale.
Right. Exactly.
I wonder what that meeting was like.
It probably is almost unbelievable to hear some of the notions that get trafficked in those meetings.
To be a fly on the wall of
those are people who are not like me.
Oh well. So we've moved so quickly that we are ready for the next break.
Yay!
Is Jenna in the chat by any chance?
I have not seen her.
I have not seen her.
I have not seen her.
Darn it, because she uses a sea lion often as her avatar.
No, she's not there.
Darn it. Okay. Because oftentimes Jenna
I will summon the Jenna.
Oh, because so this is what Jenna usually looks like. This is usually Jenna. So just keep this in mind as we look at the next thing, which I think is a little palate cleanser for you. Now, just so you know, everybody, nobody knows what the palate cleansers are except for me, because I want everybody to experience them for the first time. All right, let's see. I think I need to. No, the sound will be good. Killer whale throws sea lion 20 feet into the air. Here we go again. Here we go again. Whoa! Okay.
It's funny to see them play together like that. How nice.
I know. But
Right.
you may think to yourself, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Take a look at this. I'm going to kill that and kill the music here. You don't want to get copy struck for that. Watch.
It was just, listen, that seal had a dream. That dream was to fly with the seagulls, and he succeeded, okay? I think that should go on a poster.
Yeah, he flew. That seal got punted 80 feet into the air.
That's what I thought I saw. I just
Yeah,
didn't
here it comes
believe
again.
It.
Whee!
Holy shit, look at that thing. Look at that thing. Oh my
Oh
god.
no, I feel bad. I hope like he didn't like die of a heart attack or something, you know, from the fright.
I believe that's how they stun them before they eat them. It's like,
Yeah.
I get
Oh my
tired of having to
gosh.
chase this damn seal. How about I stun it
Oh.
by launching it into
Oh
the
my
air
god,
about
it
80
is
feet?
actually in the near the harbor of Victoria. If you look how close
Yeah.
it is to the harbor.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So, yeah. Wow.
Can I officially say I do not
Jeez.
I do not endorse these videos.
Whee!
Orcas are
Again,
dicks.
Daddy, again.
They're real dicks.
They are. Whee!
Oh my god, that is just amazing. I mean, do you know how heavy?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how heavy that thing is? That thing is just casually flipping up into the air.
Well,
I
he
think this would be
obviously
very
said something about
triggering
his
for
mother.
Jenna. So, you know, it's good that she's not here.
Send it to her in DMs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I could do that,
Joke.
couldn't I?
yeah. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no.
She's had a tough ride lately.
All right. Well,
I
we
told her to
talked-
come over and join us, but she's not responding.
So we talked about NFTs the other day, and there was the whole thing about the digital coven. That
Mhm.
was fun. Well, some of the people who buy NFTs aren't particularly bright because somebody sent them an email just saying, oh, you need to log in and take care of this thing because you're NFT. And then they put in the information and had $1.7 million worth of these things stolen.
They
Now, this isn't...
They
this-
should have right-clicked and saved the NFT to their desk.
Exactly. You
One
print a hard
point-
copy of it.
Oh,
Mhm.
I feel bad laughing because that's a lot of money, but at the same time,
254 tokens were stolen over roughly 3 hours. This is why we can't have nice things because
Those stay stolen too, by the way.
yeah.
Mhm.
And this is OpenSea is one of
the seals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the OpenSea is one of the marketplaces that was selling those digital coven things, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was that and one of the other things.
I did look at a few days ago, and it didn't seem that Crypto Coven was one of the ones that dropped. So I don't know if it was too small yet to be a target, but who knows? I haven't checked in the last 24 hours or so.
Yeah. Well, what's the point of having all this high technology and blockchain and everything else if you just give it away because somebody sends you an email?
I relied on being new tech, and we're in a secure club, and
Yeah.
it's not my fault.
Yeah, it said I need to do this thing to confirm my account or I might lose my NFTs. So I went in and filled out all my information. It's fine. No, don't do that, people. Let's see. Oh, and in lighter news, the sun will destroy Earth sooner than you might think.
Good.
Hey,
This is
isn't
the
there
good
an
news of the
asteroid
day.
coming around?
I'm not doing anything Thursday.
Yeah. So basically, as the sun ages, it converts more and more hydrogen into helium. And as the fuel mixture of the sun changes, we don't need to wait for the sun to become a red giant and expand and basically engulf the Earth.
Oh no, it's going to kill us long before that.
Yeah, it's going to start heating up. Every billion years or so, the sun's going to get about 10% brighter. So the predictions are exactly what will happen to Earth as the sun brightens over the next billion years are pretty uncertain. But the general gist is that the increasing heat from the sun will cause more water to evaporate off the surface to be held in the atmosphere instead. The water acts as a greenhouse gas, which traps more incoming heat, which speeds up the evaporation. Before it ever runs out of hydrogen, the sun's high-energy light will bombard our atmosphere and split apart the molecules and allow the water to escape as hydrogen and oxygen, eventually bleeding Earth dry of water. This is all very, very great. So I was thinking we had, like 5 billion years left, but apparently it's more like
500 million tops.
Yeah. So we're
About
screwed.
$500 million. It really is, and we have to get off the Earth. We have to not only get off the Earth, we have to find a better place and find a way to get there, even if that place is something we build in outer space. That just you, and we have an efficient enough way to take mass and essentially convert it directly or nearly directly into energy in a very, very efficient way. It's a tough road to hoe, man.
Or we could just decide to do nothing, because it's work. All that math and engineering and stuff is work.
Right. We should really be identifying root causes. What we need is more sociologists.
Absolutely. We need more of that. So, here's a space thing. People say, Harry, bring me more space articles. It's like, okay, so I bring you one. And of course, it just means that we're all screwed. Awesome.
Yeah. We'll be dead soon. Yay.
Yay.
So glad.
Can't happen soon enough. Humanity was a mistake. Okay.
We not only can't have nice things, we can't have things.
Okay, so here is something fun. I think it's fun. It's a series of articles. Bored Russian museum guard drew eyes onto $1.4 million painting on first day.
Good.
I love that. I love that so much. I can't stand it.
I
He
think
did
it
such a
actually
good
looks
job.
good.
It
Yeah,
looks good.
it looks good.
It looks better.
It looks like it belongs.
Yeah.
Yes, it does, especially the one on the right.
So it's his first day. First day on the job. He has one job. His job is to keep people from doing this to the statue, to the artwork.
So
Your
he
job
took
is to
care of
keep
it
people
himself.
from doing it. So he's like, here, I'll just take care of this.
I can't even. How was your? They fired me.
Yeah. So this is okay.
How was
Yes.
work, honey? They fired me.
So Keeverdam's saying that oh, I saw this. He's like, well, yeah, this was making the rounds, but I thought, let me check in on the art world and see how many failed restoration type things have happened in the last few years, because we've all looked at Potato Jesus. Potato Jesus is an evergreen, but these are in sort of an order of getting progressively worse. So this was a fairly recent one from 2020. Spain has been hit by yet another bungling restorer who turned this beautiful Virgin Mary painting into an unrecognizable blob.
And then into a Karen. Holy shit. Poor Mary.
Wait, what? Wait, what was the starting? Which one was the starting
The
one?
one on the left.
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, yes.
He erased the middle part of that painting.
Yeah.
He ruined that. That's ruined.
Yes.
And that's who's that? The head of the education union? That's her on the bottom right.
Yeah, this is fairly terrible, but
Her first name's Karen. Yeah.
but look, how about this? This is a statue this time. A new restoration failed in Spain again, drawing comparisons to Beast Jesus, or what I call Potato Jesus. The botched restoration of a carved wood sculpture of St. George is provoking anger, laughter, and an unfortunate case of deja vu.
It's like an anime.
A Spanish art teacher's effort to restore the 16th century work is being compared to, Potato Jesus. So here's the whole thing. That looks great. I think that's just top work that he's doing there. That's the level of detail where you kind of know that that Mattel made it and there's no genitalia. If you look underneath it, it's just everything smooth.
Yep.
All smooth.
Yeah.
And then, but wait, there's more.
The restoration leaves much to be desired.
The
mayor of
statues really
municipality
needed painting.
said.
An amateur artist defends her neon restoration of a 15th century religious shrine.
Wow! The green. That's spectacular.
Isn't
What
it?
was
though?
her defense? Is that just the defense that they just really needed painting?
Yeah.
That's her.
She just treated it like a coloring book.
Well, look at all this bare wood. It's
That's
so
what-
1970s. You
Okay.
need to brighten that up.
Can I do a little aside? Speaking of wood and painting wood,
We have
Okay,
tons
quick-
of time. Go ahead.
just a quick. This is a huge pet peeve of mine. So there's this thing. I don't have TikTok, so I see all of these as shorts on YouTube. There's a few channels like this where it's like, oh, cute DIY channels where this is my job. I go around thrift stores, find pieces,
Oh my God, I
and then
hate those people.
upscale them, right? Now, sometimes they do a really good job because they'll take something like they'll find IKEA furniture or similar, and then they redo it, and it's great. Excellent ideas for that, cheap. But they'll find vintage pieces at these places, like really nice, beautiful, solid wood that does need refinishing, or perhaps the feet need to be cut off because they're beyond saving, and there's minor things that they could be done. But you know what they do? They sandblast it and paint over the beautiful and hide every bit of the natural grain of the wood. And these are no longer being made solid wood unless you pay thousands of dollars for it, right? Like if you really want to go into
And they
places.
paint them?
And they
paint
paint them with
chalk
cheap
paint.
Mhm.
Chalk paint.
Chalk
Because it
paint,
fills
and then-
in.
And
So-
or what they'll do is they'll take like what are they called, like tongue depressors and popsicle sticks, and
Yeah.
then add them as for a boho beachy vibe and glue them on
Yep.
Glue them.
onto these beautiful
Glue them
solid
to
wood.
these. Gee.
Well, it's like they'll paint them like they're IKEA furniture. Like they'll
Yeah.
do where it's a section where it's air quotes natural wood, and then like a solid matte color, like it's always black, white, occasionally blue or green.
Like a taupey, sandy
yeah.
color.
They will change out the solid metal handles for cheap little crystal plastic looking things. They won't put any. The worst thing that they like, I've seen people do, and they've done this recently, and I want to hurt every single one of these bitches. There's a certain type of oven cleaner that they will spray on solid wood to take the ugly air quotes orange finish off.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god! I have not
Ugly-
seen, but I'm not
ugly.
surprised.
Ugly
and-
orange finish off.
Yeah. And then, but the thing, it gets worse. Then they will proceed to, because the oven cleaner is toxic, they will then soak it down in water to get rid of the toxic oven cleaner. Just to get that kind of that, what most people who deal with solid wood understand is a dried out ashy wood color. You know, that kind of like dried, like beach driftwood color.
Yeah.
Which is not what you want unless it's actual driftwood. And then they'll just put like tongue oil on it or something like that, or Murphy's oil, and that's it. They won't seal it. They won't actually finish it. They'll do the tongue depressor crap. They'll put Bondo, like fill in the gaps with Bondo instead of filling it in the way you're supposed to. They'll just put in like liners in the. And they'll flip stuff. They'll get it for free off like Facebook or something like that. And fuck you, Harry. they'll get it for free, and then they'll sell it. Some dumbass buys it for $300, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
Or they do
Why
that.
are you paying that much?
They'll do that acrylic pour stuff.
Oh God.
You know that thing where and then they seal it, which I've seen some of them look very interesting, but not when they destroy. You want to do that on a shitty MDMF board? Fine, you will make it look better, but then they'll take something that is a solid oak table.
Yeah.
That just needs revarnishing or restaining or something like that because it's scratched up, but it's beautiful. And they'll put like glitter and paint, and then put acrylic or seal it in resin. Do an acrylic pour and then seal it in resin.
Yeah, like it's like do that. Go to Walmart and buy or Target and buy a cheap build your own thing, and then put like the wooden like stencil things on them, so this way you get it look like it was carved and do it that way. Like, don't do this stuff, because what that picture doesn't show very well. Also, I think that's Peter, Mary, and somebody else.
Mhm.
Is that she also put lipstick and eyeliner on them, because I read it in the caption above, and I'm like, okay, I am not Christian in any way, shape, or form. That's sacrilege. You deserve to be burned at the stake.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Make your own shit and degrade it.
Yeah, well, this is awful. So actually, Sora knows about this, so maybe you can assist me with this. Oh, I didn't put them all in the spreadsheet. I'm dumb. Let's go
want the
over
Mini
here.
spreadsheet. What's wrong with me?
So,
Like
you know, there's this whole thing about celebrity. And I literally just sort of stumbled across something which I thought was kind of interesting. And I sent a note to Sora, so you know what I'm talking about. This image, does this image look familiar to anybody?
Yeah.
You've seen this before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My
This-
family watches
It
this
looks
show.
familiar, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so this is Cleopatra De Merode, or Merode, I don't know how to pronounce that. She basically was the first celebrity, in a sense.
Essentially,
She
yeah.
was photographed, you know, by like early photographers, and people made sculptures of her, and her photo went around the world. So, you know, kind of like we have celebrities now, this was sort of the first one. That photo was from the late 19th century. And it was like the first time there was like a picture of a person that got shared widely around the globe. People actually paid attention to what this French ballet dancer did. And she was considered to be the most beautiful woman in the world for her time. I think even and the thing is that she was sort of the first woman that's considered beautiful that sort of fit the modern beauty aesthetic, really. So this is your first celebrity, this nice lady right here who's been colorized. She not only was sort of this first celebrity, but there was the gossip and all the stuff about this. So child prodigy, teen trendsetter, this is her getting started. People, paid attention to what she did even when she was like a little kid. There were rumors. Okay, so here's a Boldini. So if you know anything about portraits, Boldini did a lot of portraits of essentially famous people and wives of very, very rich people. He's a big time artist. It was a big deal to have your painting done by him. This painting is pretty darn famous. If you search for Boldini, it's one of the first things that will come up. She was implicated as being in a relationship with which emperor was it? Leopold.
Leopold, yeah. Leopold II.
And she didn't really deny it because there's no such thing as bad publicity. She was actually very savvy about her public image. But they even had a celebrity hookup nickname. They called them Cleopold.
Leopold. I love that.
That's
So-
Leopold II of Belgium, isn't it?
Yeah, this is 1895 that you had a celebrity hookup nickname.
Benifer wishes to be that cool.
Yeah, Cleopold. That is beautiful.
We lived not too far from the estate that their grandchildren lived on when I lived in Belgium. We lived out in the countryside out in Waterloo, and they had an estate. It was the border of their estate was actually at the end of the little road we were on. And my sisters used to go down there, and they would let them ride their horses at their own private stable there. Leopold II, grandkids. I shit you not.
So it's let's see, Assassin of the Grey. So now after I've made everyone angry, yeah, I know. I'm trying to win you back. I make people angry, and then I do this.
Oh.
It was a fun noise.
Yay!
Yay!
I wanted to have a nice alarm for my pacemaker.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think this is an interesting story. Now there's this sculpture, there's a whole thing about whether she modeled for it or not. There's just like this whole long story. I put the link in the chat so people can actually kind of check it out. I'm just blown away by how modern this story seems. It has all the pieces. Well, I would have thought that over time things would have sort of evolved.
No.
But no.
People are people.
People are people, and as soon as like about a hot minute after we had photography and the ability to share pictures widely, this happened. There was really no gap. It's just like, okay, here you go. Technology existed. Boom.
Well, this goes all the way back to Byzantine and Greek and Roman too. Like actors would become famous if you were a bastard child and you were involved in anything in the arts. You would become famous. Like it was easier to disseminate the stuff out about that time because photography became a bigger thing. Printed publications were a much more easy will access thing. Like, so it seems like it's something new, but it's not. Humans gossip about something. It doesn't necessarily have to be about people. It can be about anything. So this is not shocking. This is just people being people.
Oh no, it's not shocking. It's just surprisingly modern. Because we're talking about before the airplane.
Yeah.
This is, but she's different because certainly there were famously beautiful women. Helen of Troy, right?
Well,
that's famous, right? So
I don't know if she actually existed, but
we don't know if she actually existed. But let's not get into that part of history
not go down
about
that
who existed and who didn't exist and in what form.
Dare we pay attention to that bit of
but she was actually known around the globe. Wherever there were newspapers and things, people knew who she was. Her name was on people's lips.
There was collectible cards, like the photographs that you could purchase.
I wouldn't say her impact was so much of her persona as much as the significance of starting a war over some arbitrary bullshit.
If you go down the legend of Helen of Troy, she was worldly known for being beautiful before the war, and that's what started it.
Yes, but the whole point was that she was a Spartan princess who was abducted, quote unquote, and started a war between Greece and Turkey, so to speak. It wasn't so much her physical appearance as opposed to the concept of a means to war. But yes, continue.
No, oh my gosh, let's see, 140 pounds. Wow, that's a little big by modern standards.
Not really. She was 5'6", so not
I mean for celebutards.
Well, yeah.
She's also, but remember, she is a professional dancer, so
so she
some of that is muscle.
Yeah, she's
fit. And muscle weighs more than fat.
Well, that's the thing. It was like she was a professional dancer back during the age before they started making them all starve themselves. Because ballerinas back then were not tiny girls.
No, they were. Some of the photos of like the Tchaikovsky ballerinas at the first Tchaikovsky ballets, they're like solid.
And these women had to do without point shoes. Like they had to go full on point without point shoes. Like they were some tough ladies. But yeah, that was back when women dancers were actually allowed to be something other than twigs.
It really messed up their feet.
Yeah. The point shoes actually mess their feet up more now than they did back then. But yeah, no, it's still not good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I put that link there. Just it's interesting. Sora will even tell you it's interesting. Yeah, definitely check that out.
Fun. She's lived to be 91 years old. Had no children, never married. So now we know the secret to long life. And she was very, very, very cool. She's had my favorite quote because when she was still at the height of her dancing celebrity, It's actually in here when she went to New York City, and they were saying like, oh, she didn't have a good review in the papers, and she's like, oh, the American papers, they lie. The Americans, they like me, but anyway, what do they know of ballet? They know nothing about dance. They're American.
It's a
I'm
very
like, that is the
Trumpian
most
response.
deliciously
Yeah, it is.
French thing I've ever heard, and I love it.
It's very continental. True.
Yeah.
Americans, what do they know about ballet?
Yeah, fuck you, Americans. No one
Yeah.
cares what you think.
So late 19th century, beautiful woman, savvy beyond all logic for her time in terms of how she managed her public image.
Oh,
I'm just
and-
I'm just blown away by
and-
how advanced she was socially for
Mhm.
her time. I wouldn't have thought it was possible before reading about it.
But she also did the one thing she survived, well, besides the Cleopatra scandal stuff, which kind of made people look down her nose. But later on, she danced at the Folie Bergère, where everyone was like, oh, no, don't do that. That's strip club compared to you. Don't, you're going to ruin your career, death knell, right? No, it actually made her even more popular because then we entered the First World War and she became a pinup, basically.
Whoa, hold on, wait, what was that called?
Folie Bergère. Sort of like the Moulin Rouge. It's exotic dancing and that kind of stuff.
What is
Yeah.
that? What does that mean though? What is Bergère?
It's like a dance. It's like a corps de danse, right? Like they do can that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. So
Semi-nude.
it's style like
Yeah.
So it's like line
Burlesque.
dancing.
Burlesque kind of dancing.
Yeah,
Square
it
dance.
was. Yeah, it's basically Folies were just frivolity, and
I just
Yeah,
wanna- I
the
just wanna know
Bergère
what
Music
it is.
Hall was actually a Parisian music hall in the 19th century, just
Yeah.
for your information.
so
No,
Yeah.
so
See,
She's awesome.
the Bergère was actually a Parisian music hall, I believe.
yeah, it was a Parisian music hall.
19th,
Yeah.
19th century, 18th century type
it's
thing.
it's
So
my-
late 1700s.
From what the internet says, and it's not Wikipedia, it was a Parisian music hall founded in 1869, noted for the lavish spectacle and mildly, which take that into consideration what time period it is, risque content of its entertainment.
mildly risque.
I mean, for back then, that's
I get it. I'm just
no.
Scandal.
I mean, it was the mid to late Victorian area. They were dirty. Like,
hey, you know
They
what?
were
My
dirty.
intention in all of this is that I hope the audience hears this shit and looks it up themselves. Because I know what the fuck you're talking about. So I want everybody else to fucking learn it. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful for people to learn all of this new stuff.
So Adam,
It's not
a
new.
thing that we do well, specifically Geodes does it because he's it's his big contribution and it's massively appreciated. Is at the end of this, we will put together a list of notes with all the links to all the articles, and it'll all be timestamped, and so there'll be a comment. So anybody who comes back to watch the show later will have access to all the articles. So we actually share all of it, so it makes it easy for people who want to do more research later.
Mhm.
So it's on the short list of things we actually do right on Saturday night, I think.
Good.
So I didn't.
I look forward to more people learning a lot of new stuff.
So yeah.
Me
So
too.
we actually, because I didn't want to spend hours and hours talking about Ukraine, kind of blew through that faster than we probably could have otherwise. So we're actually out of stuff for tonight's show early. I don't know if there's anything else anybody wants to bring up. Don't all
I
go
think
at
one
once.
of the just a reprise back to Ukraine.
Mhm.
Seriously,
Uh-oh.
don't be surprised if this blows up in Putin's face. If this ends up being a quagmire he simply did not anticipate. I think he really thought that they would fold up. He expected nothing like what he is getting in terms of resistance. He's a smart guy. He can see this political situation begin to degenerate. I would not be surprised if a week from now, he's pulling out.
He, for whatever reason, the Russians have decided to attack on 4 fronts simultaneously. They could have very easily just moved into eastern Ukraine, established their supply lines, and then extended slowly and inevitably taken things over. But they're obviously in a hurry.
Yeah.
And
money. It costs money.
It costs money to do this little foreign adventure that he's doing.
It does.
And so he's obviously, if you look at the strategy they're using, he's obviously in a hurry. He wants this done, and he wants it done quickly without a lot of blowback.
Yep.
The fact that they don't have air superiority and they're trying to maintain 4 separate fronts with 4 separate groups of forces with 4 separate supply lines, they are not close enough together to actually share supplies. Logistically, this is extremely expensive and only makes sense for them if he can pull it off quickly. His strategy is very, very costly.
Oh, wait till some Ukrainian MiG-29 pilot decides, looks up and, oh, look at that. There's a Tupolev taken off from, for some eastern part of Russia. I think I'll just go shoot this down right quick, and that's just a no-brainer for them.
Well, they've already shot down 2 planes that each contained 100 paratroopers.
Yes. What I'm talking about something that will start to mean Russian civilian deaths.
Yes, right. You're talking about a civilian airliner.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole different thing. And let me tell you, Ukrainians, if you think they'll stop at that, you are dead wrong.
Okay.
You do not understand that mentality.
Oh, I do understand it. And
I know you do. I was using the
No. Here's the dark thought that I wasn't necessarily going to say today. Yeah. If they prevail, which they very well might, just because of the overwhelming might that they have.
Yes.
The Russians did not enjoy the terrorism that came out of Chechnya.
Yeah.
No.
And I think that if they do a brutal crackdown to basically take over Ukraine, because that's what it's going to take to dislodge them at this point, it is going to create a whole generation of terrorism and problems, and and essentially he's going to have to crack down on his own population to stop the terrorism, and that will have economic and political effects that he will not survive.
It'll be a nation of terrorists. And not only that, in the Ukraine, here's what's going to happen. The pro-Russian group is going to align with the Russian invaders, and the Ukraine nationalists it's going to be effectively a civil war precipitated by this asshole Putin. This is going to be a mess. And you better hope that he says, you know what, there's not enough upside ahead. I'm going to do a strategic withdrawal. That probably right now is his smartest move.
Yeah, Ukraine may just end up, if it survives this, it may end up splitting in 2.
Well, you have a little rump state, on the eastern part, and because here's the thing. Putin has already loaded troops into Moldova. Moldova is crawling with Soviet troops right now, and that country will fall into the Soviet sphere instantly as soon as Ukraine gives up. When that happens, then you might really see some adventurism heading west from Moldova on, and then places like Romania and the Baltic countries, especially Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, Finland, and potentially even could have some really bad effects on the Scandinavian countries and Germany. This is real. This is real bad. He needs to pull back for the stability of the world. It's gonna, if you think the supply chain disruptions are bad so far this week, and I lay all this at Biden's feet. This does not happen with a strong American president. I really think a strong American president says, no. The blowback is going to be immediate, severe, and painful and costly. When you present that to Vladimir Putin, he'll sit there and bide his time. He's smart enough to do that. That's what he was doing. He got an opportunity with a bad president, and now he's in. That's what's really going on.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have some more comments, but I think I'm going to save them for after the show because I don't know if they're actually good enough for the show, but I have to get them off my chest. So I think we are basically done. Anybody else have anything before we go?
No.
No. We could
Stick
have
a fork in me.
We could have another look at the fearsome barn owl.
I love that so much.
All right. Good night, everybody. The zoo's closed.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Be careful with your taxidermy.